I'm very happy you're here, still here, doing good, looking stronger than ever. Welcome to Nordic Game 24, our 20-year anniversary, day 3. The final day, the last day, but not the worst day, because we have a great amount of splendid talks here in the theater, in our other 2 auditoriums, all day long until 3 o'clock. Actually, the last talk will be here at 2 o'clock, not to be missed. It's Stig Curran, the Nordic Game mascot, world premiere of his new performance. It's called Perfect, and it's about me, I hope. No, it's not. I'm Jacob, by the way, program director at Nordic Game. I hope that you have had some good days so far. Sort of. We ended with a bang last night with the awards here on this stage, where we found, all the winners, especially Alan Wake 2, surprise, won a lot of awards, the best audio as well. And that was my segue to say, stay here after this session, because the next one is Petri Alanko, the composer of Alan Wake 2, in a conversation with Orvar Säfström. If you're into audio, you should watch that too. All right? Good. So now, with no further ado, I want to introduce you to the first session of today here in the theater. I think 8, 9 years ago or something like that, we invented, I was a little bit part of it, this new way of doing a session about being a composer. The session was stopped, same game, different music. And the concept is that we take a gameplay snippet from a game, either released or soon to be released, and we ask a range of composers to compose music to that gameplay snippet. And then we show the gameplay snippet with the different scores to it, and then the composers discuss why they chose, what they did, and why not, and how much music really mean to the gameplay experience. So, for this year, as it is our 20-year anniversary, I was like, we should be a little bit celebrating and 20 years and all, and which game, like audio-wise or score-wise, have had the biggest impact on me? And it was one game that came directly into my mind. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah, I don't know if I'm good at singing it, but it is the theme of the first Battlefield game. And that is why it's such a pleasure to have the composer of the original score here, Joel Eriksson, and also 2 of my companions on this journey with the same game, different music concept through all these years. So, with no further ado now, I promise, please meet Joel, Kim, and Thor for the same game, different music session. Ladies and gentlemen.
Nice. Welcome, everybody. Guys, take a seat. Joel, you're going to sit in the middle. Here's your microphones. Oh, your chair is squeaking. This is a sound design panel now. Welcome, everyone. It's nice to have you here. And everyone who's still outside, come inside. So, I'm Thor. I'm also moderating this. And I have been on this panel since 2015. And Jacob, thank you for the warm and welcome intro. And this is always fun. Every single year, we enjoy doing this. And usually, since the party is on the Thursday, usually we sit here in sunglasses and just vibing from yesterday and talking about music. Not this year, we forgot the sunglasses. So, Joel, Kim, Kim, please, you start. Introduce yourself a little bit.
Hey there, I'm Kim. I'm a composer, amongst other things, and I'm based in Glasgow, Scotland, and I'm happy to be here, rubbing shoulders with these 2 titans over here. So, yeah.
Yeah, hello, nice to meet you all. I'm Joel Eriksson, and yes, as Jacob mentioned, the composer for Battlefield 1942. I don't know if I ever got this amount of stage time for the actual game, because now we are here and doing some makeover for it.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting to revisit this old intro film that I remember I struggled with over 20 years ago.
Yeah, so there's we had the previous conversation a little bit, and Joel, there's an anecdote to the intro, right? Like when you made it, like we talked about it, you were like, okay, the original, right? Wasn't it like they said, oh, this was a little bit too serious, but this thing from the multiplayer waiting queue, like how the theme, that dum came to life.
Right. It was the theme. I think maybe even someone in the audience has. I met Magnus here before, and it was an old day. Sorry. Yeah, Vehicle 4. It was called. It was arranged in different moods, and Vehicle 4 was a winner in some sense, because it was the most heroic, easy to catch, catchy thing, and it was kind of repetitive. But and when we came to we were gonna make the music for the intro movie, I started with something completely else, and I don't have that anywhere. I have tried to find it, what it was, but I really loved it. It was more cinematic, more dark, more not as hitty like it is in the end.
Yeah.
And the whole team said to me that, it should be based on the Vehicle 4, because there we have the theme.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really realizing that at the time, but it seems like everyone else knew it. So it's sometimes hard to be objective.
Yeah, exactly.
When being into it. But okay, so I did what they said and transformed the Vehicle 4 that I made into the intro.
Yeah.
And I have to say, knowing how that went, it was hard to create something for the intro, because I knew that if we had an original song, more lengthy, then it would be easier to just pick out the parts from that and cut it down into an intro. And now it felt like we have to compose the essence of something else that isn't existing, into one short little hitty piece. Fun stuff.
Yeah, let's see if let's start with the first version of Kim, and before we play the video, Kim, some final words to see if you did the better job than Joe.
Dum.
Okay, that's good final words there. So can we have the first video and hear your version of the Battlefield 1942 theme? Yeah. Good job. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
The song in the end.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's Vera Lynn. It was from 1939. And for the ending, because watching the original trailer, how can you top that? You know, that's how you know the might of a good composer. That, you know, you have this recurring theme, and you kind of use that same theme at the end, and it's so iconic and majestic, you know. But I was thinking, how can I top that? Like, none at all, if I do something myself. So I reused two of the most era-defining songs and like sounds of the time, which is like an air raid siren and Vera Lynn, We'll Meet Again, which is a sort of critique to war in general. But yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but some nice, sweet harmonies all over.
Wasn't
Thank
it
you.
also used in Fallout, that song?
I
In
don't
some
think-
Fallout trailer, I think it was used as well.
Yeah, it has the element. No, but like this is earlier. I think Fallout has like more 50s kind of tunes.
I
in
could
it,
be
yeah.
wrong. Like, but I know the song. Like, kind of everyone has heard that song, right? Used in
Yeah,
movies.
it's such a defining song, isn't it? It's,
But I love what you
yeah.
did to the version. Like, we're gonna be the judge at the end, like all of us, specifically you, if any version is gonna hit better than the original.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a hopeless
not.
mission. And I think the song that you picked in the end is reflecting this hopelessness.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. This utter melancholy which is conveyed in it.
Isn't that kind of bold of me to say it's a hopeless mission? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I felt that way as well.
Yeah.
Because when it's a little bit when trying to replace something that is so settled, it's always hopeless.
Yeah.
It's like someone would tell you, can you create a sound like on this famous Michael Jackson track, but without vocals but equal hittiness and
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Just the hee-hees.
Like, yeah, exactly. So yeah, let's see what you did, Joe, to your own music. Any last famous words?
Yeah, I was thinking that at first only like be more, because it should reflect 1942, the sound that we had. So I was thinking at first only use piano, like even more true to the time era than the original was in that sense. But after trying to, so I used a real piano for this, and I fiddled about, but after I did that, I felt like an urge to add more stuff, and maybe I added too much. So let's see.
Yeah, please play the next video. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, what do you think? Do you like it better than the original? You? Okay. Like silence.
No one dares to say anything. But yeah, yeah,
What do you think?
I think it has something. Okay, if you ask me, I can be honest. It has something, and I think it's also about. Now, when I listen to it, I mean, it was made in a pretty speedy, short time, but it's good sometimes. And when I listen to it now, I felt, yeah, it's. I mean, everything is borderline something, right? And okay, it could be a theme to Falcon Crest, maybe, or Dallas, if you guys know what that is. But at the same time, it has the. I mean, themes are a bit similar. It's slight sound differences that makes them particular in a direction. And I mean, we are safe when having the snare drums. So to stay in this genre, but yeah, I think it's an all right setup of instruments, and I mean, if you guys would have this now in an intro, and it was the only hot game that you played for 2 years, then maybe you would start to like this one as well. So.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna moderate myself now. Okay, famous last words, Thor? Yeah, I have some famous last words. So I was like, it's 2 decades of Nordic Game, it's 2 decades of Battlefield. Coincidentally, it's 2 decades of one of my favorite bands where I was just making a cover of with analog synthesizer only. And that's Dimmu Borgir's Puritania. So we have Sweden, we have Icelandic composer on it, we have Norwegian bands, and you might ask, where's the Danes? Like, we have Jacob, like, let's ignore the Danes. We have enough Danes on this conference. So, the last version, here comes my version, which is completely different, but that's the beauty about music. Please play the next video.
We do away with your kind. Countdown to exterminate the human race. 4, 3, 2, 1. successfully erased.
That was fun.
Was it you singing?
Yes.
What a voice.
Well, I'm for 25 years a metal singer.
Nice work.
What gave it away?
What gave it away? No, it was yesterday in 43 minutes. 20 minutes of that was setting up the project. But I was like, when I was seeing the trailer, something that I realized was the tempo of the video. And I was like, this must be about 140 beats per minute, like an usual like picture shift. And I was like, well, actually that fits to the BPM tempo of that song from Dimmu Borgir. And I was like, this is actually fun because like having something that's also as equally old as like in release as Battlefield, as Nordic Game now on the conference. Like I was just like, this kind of fits. And the beauty about like doing something like this, right? Like rescoring something, like it kind of fits the mood from the lyrics because it's about war, like going to war with yourself as the human race. Like, and I mean, what is Battlefield about, right? At the end, it's about war, and you're playing war. And then I was like, I want to do something with my monophonic analog synthesizer, but as audio people know, like that's just real-time recording, which takes a lot of time. And I worked on this like for a long time, like on that version. This is all just the analog synthesizer, like no plugins except a little bit of reverb and stuff, and then just the mastering chain and the vocals. And the only thing that's something else are the cymbals. So I wanted to do something entirely different that projects like the heaviness, the aggression of metal, but only with a synthesizer.
Yeah, I think aggression there is key in that sense.
Yeah.
As opposed to our version, with like Joe's a bit
Yeah.
more jovial in a sense than his previous one, and like mine is a bit more like a demonstration of might and artillery, and look how big we are, and we have these man-made killing machines ready to attack. Your version is kind of, I'm in it and I'm shooting.
Yeah, exactly. exactly. That was I mean, the rhythm pattern that is like super repetitive. This is also living through like the snare mostly and the kick drum, right? Like the original song, and this is basically shooting.
The
right?
snare, you got that right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I was like, oh, this fits. So because I was first thinking like, should I compose? But to be also like completely bluntly honest, I pulled off like an Art Meets AI exhibition last week in Hamburg, 3-day event. Like I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna score over the weekend. Like I need to catch up sleep for Nordic Game. So I was like, let's work with a cover that's ready. Yeah, and then I just edited it like yesterday, and it kind of surprisingly fit on the timing, like good enough.
Almost frustratingly, actually.
No, like I mean, we have been doing this panel I've been like in this panel since 2015, and like what I like to do, what I like at some point started to like to do is like do something completely different. Like last year we had a thing on recycling, actually, like an old cube from a completely different trailer. It fit like on the fucking frame, like in shift, like in picture and that kind of stuff, because it also gives a different perspective. And this was just like, okay, sometimes you see something, like as composers, you see like a picture of some trailer or whatever you need to work on, and like instantly there's something hitting you like, this is gonna work, right? Like sometimes you watch the material, you know, like I know exactly how to start or what to do because this is gonna work on the because we get just things without sound, sometimes sound design on it, but versions of trailers, right, or video material in video games, usually stuff is like first silent, right? We need to like work with silence basically as our starting point, and you see things and instantly there's always like, or how is it for you guys? Do you have like this moment where like I need to like really think like where to start in like a new project? Like how is it for you, Joel? Like when you start on a new project composing music for something?
Yeah, it's silent at first for me as well. I think it has evolved a little bit during the years. I tend to sit down by piano more and more.
Yeah.
And back in the days, I was more starting to build some beats and stuff and see what comes out of it. Now it's the production part is, I wouldn't say it's boring, but the production part has become a bit less interesting to me, and because I realize more and more it's about the composition and the ideas, and maybe it could even be fun to maybe compose something, give it to someone who loves producing and loves picking the best production and orchestration to it, or like obviously for a real live orchestra would be fun. But there was a long answer to this question, but tend to be more like sitting down by a piano or creating the image of how the track is going to be.
Yeah.
Because it's if we don't have this clear idea and start the production, we get tangled up all the time, and
In
it's
technical
kind of
things, right?
hard to the music gets some kind of inertia. It's hard to turn it around when we have started building it. So sometimes I end up there and start over from scratch, because the production is just it's in the first idea, the vision.
Like trust your guts.
Yeah, of course. You
Yeah.
gotta have some confidence, and start trusting in your ideas. Yes.
Yeah,
of course.
There's also like I had recently a conversation with a mixing engineer, and it was like purely about the technical part of mixing stuff, right? But also like there's this more rule of like taking the meta approach on things and respecting also your previous work on things, and not like ditching everything, be like, oh, this is not good enough or whatever, but trusting your instincts as someone who's like able to oversee in music also the things, and like not going like too detaily, too close, always like with the glasses, right? And be like cherry picking everything, every sample library, nuance and stuff like. Leave that to someone else in mixing sometimes.
Yeah, it's easy to look at the details that aren't important. Very easy to pay attention to the wrong stuff. I think it's all what the challenge is about. What details are you paying attention to?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was about to say something very important. It will come back.
Yeah. Kim, how's it for you?
I guess I have like a way different relationship with music and like creativity in general. But a funny story about the first part, the Mirage bit. I was contracted by a very good friend of mine, an artist who goes by the name of Sweatshops, earlier this year to make this 20-minute sonic piece, which was then later used for a performance, which involved Carnatic music, Indian classical music, and robotic elements. So what I did was I took a sitar software instrument and a theremin, and I played the theremin, basically, took the analog signal from the theremin, transposed it into MIDI, and what you get is this absolutely horrible sounding like thing. So I did the same thing for this, but with a duduk. I think it's Persian, but hey, come on, can be all that exact. But yeah, so I wanted to convey that horrible atmosphere. And with the theremin, when you transpose it into MIDI, with all the expression and modulations, when you just like have a fit in front of it and just, it starts sounding absolutely terrifying. you
Yeah.
know, and it completely fits the intro where you kind of imagine you're a drafted soldier and you're just thrown into the desert. You don't know where you are. Everything's hazy. There's orange everywhere. You can't see, and then a tank comes in.
Yeah.
So that was the kind of feeling. Yeah.
We should do one thing. Maybe your memories to the important thing is coming back. Let's play the original trailer. Right? Let's. There we go. Fuck yeah, this brings memories back, like playing that game so much. Like this is, I think, one of the most iconic themes in video game history.
Yeah, you had no chance. You were going against something great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like you didn't have a chance on yourself.
No.
Like with the remake. But yeah, this is like also the anecdotes to this that we were saying in the beginning is a testimony to what we were just discussing about, right? Like, as well, yeah. Yeah. So we have 13 minutes left. Do you guys have? Do we want to start a Q&A? Do we want to have an open conversation? And do you have questions? Absolutely. So yeah, should we do that? Like open the conversation to the audience?
Yeah, you're the host. I'm the newbie here. I was last time I was at the copy party because this is a copy party, right?
Yeah.
Was Icing 95.
Yeah. Well.
Carry the screen in the backpack, and we had to do that.
Oh, absolutely. Like next year, Nordic maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, you're the host. We can start the QA.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So, there's a question like we need to like run with a microphone. Where to?
Hey guys, I missed the first bit, so I hope that I'm not asking something that might have already been covered. But we're seeing these iconic compositions reach like historical value in entertainment. And when you make one that actually lasts multiple games, defines a franchise, you're seeing that a lot of credit becomes kind of an issue. And I think the best examples that we have out there is like John Williams' original theme for Star Wars, the original musical theme for Star Trek. The composer's name is like lacking my brain right now. But and eventually, at one point, it becomes an issue of give credit where credit is due. I think we all know the Halo theme as well. Marty O'Donnell actually won a court case against Microsoft with regards to this, getting the rights back for his Halo work. And now, when a new game comes out, it says, based on the original score by. What are your views on like tackling that kind of legacy once you actually hit a composition that has that kind of lifespan? And what is the advice that you have for fellow audio people, composers that might be sitting on something that will have that kind of a tail historically, and how to prepare for what might come if you get something that has that kind of a reach? I hope you guys didn't cover that yet, but.
No, but this is a question for Joel because I never had a legacy in this.
Yet.
Yeah, we use this. Yeah.
My goodness, this is such a
Complex question.
this is a very huge question. How can I? Well, it also has the history of game music was kind of in its baby years when I mean we are talking 2001, something like that, and it was basically the first time video games could have real MP3 files in them. Before that, it was synthesized chip music or tracker music, which was very good times as well. And I guess the business didn't really have a solid structure for how to deal with these kinds of matters. It had some kind of, in the film music industry, things were more settled already. And we knew that a film had its composer or composers. A game wasn't seen. To even give a more wide picture of the history back then, it was like some games that was produced in this era actually was some kind of starting point for game music being legit, and they started to have them in concert halls, played by
Full
by
band
symphonic orchestras.
stuff,
I think this track was and also we have the Final Fantasy music around this era, and there was a couple of. I will not go into any details about credits and stuff, but yes, I mean, if I actually think that today we have a little bit more solid structure in things, and I don't see why I'm not sure that I need to give a lot of tips to modern composers creating, because
It's easier than ever to release your stuff subtle with credits nowadays, right? Like we have just through publishing services already through the music, if you release it out and then like you're credited on it. That
Yeah.
kind of stuff has become like, I think 20 minutes. So like on DistroKid or Baby Music or these kind of services that also been used by companies to publish the original soundtrack into the usual things where the music industry stuff happens as well, right? It becomes super easy to release music and to bind the credits into it. And also what video games have been turning into is the actual setup into the IMDb database, like with credits who worked on the video games and that kind of stuff, that started to happen more and more and more over time, Vlad. So to answer your question, it's like I think nowadays what Joe said, the structure is a completely different one than back then, because it was kind of Wild West back then everyone was just a bunch of creatives making video games, like, you know, not really like, okay, we have like a solid like right structure and like, you know, all this stuff in place correctly already.
If I could give one simple tip, it wouldn't be for composers actually, it would be for the business and for the game companies. It would be clever to know that the composition of a song is one thing, the arranging and like making new versions with the same composition as a base still means that we have an original composer. That could be something to, think about. I think most people are aware of it.
Yeah. And I think also like it has become easier than ever for everyone to kind of, you know, edit music up, like do their own versions of stuff, remix things, right? And people wanna also take their favorite music of a video game nowadays and like kind of turn it into like versions of that, just for the sake of enjoying that composition a lot. I mean, we see like all this rearrangement covers and stuff on YouTube of like everything, like kind of in the soundtracks in video games, like even movies and even original music of normal artists, right? And it's a different time, and then snippets being used on social media for some stuff, like all that kind of stuff as well. There's a complete new world nowadays than it has been ever before in terms of music and content in any sense, right? So, like, I think to have a conclusion for this, like for young composers, don't worry about building a legacy. You will, because you're writing music, and as long as you stick to working on that field, like there's 8 billion people on this planet, and you know, like you never know which game is gonna really blow up in terms of soundtrack and theme, like to become like that iconic. Like we said that before, it's unforeseeable kind of to know like that this is like a soundtrack, a piece of music is really that thing of a hit in that kind of sense, like for everything. Even like bands say like this is our best song in an album, and then suddenly it's a completely different song that blows up like crazy. So yeah, I think like don't worry about that. Like just write music and give everything into that. Right? That would be my conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, that is a good thing. Don't worry, write music. So, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, we could maybe... Shall we have a new question, or...
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, sorry for not being able to answer 100%. Yeah.
So, who else has a question? I can't see shit, it's too much light. No one, really? Oh, there.
Hello, hi.
Hello.
We got to see a really wide range of emotions for these 3 versions, right? And maybe the first one more something I'd expect from this kind of trailer, and the last one something I'd expect from video games specifically. But the second one really shocked me because it was so incredibly upbeat. And in the beginning, I was like, this does not fit at all, right? But then after a while, I started to realize, like, oh, this is like war propaganda. This contrast kind of hit me, right? And then I felt a lot of emotions before that, but that was when I was like, oh, that contrast is, I think, one of the reasons a lot of people feel this fascination for war, because of the contrast between this unimaginable violence and inhumanity together with honor and bravery and responsibility and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, like, what made you make this trailer score so like positive and upbeat? And was that something you considered, that contrast?
Yeah, I mean, oh, good point. This is, you know, Astrid Lindgren, the Swedish, she was a Swedish author. She once said, what if there was a war, but no one showed up? And she nailed it. So let's make it clear that it's just a computer game. I mean, war is okay, right? If we are sitting online with our mouse clicking, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay. All right.
Like because it's fiction, right?
Yeah, and it's actually, you're pointing out something that turned up in my head when doing it. Is why should it be like way?
Yeah.
It's a very. But the thing is that I felt that was the thing I learned back in 2001. We touched on it earlier because we had another version of this intro music, and it was much more dark. It was more scary. Yeah, like your track.
Yeah.
I mean, it's darker, right? And that didn't really. We had this the team. We want some kind of adventurous, fun, Indiana Jones style.
I think that's war. It's like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Like in a video game. That's what you want.
Yeah.
And we need to
But it's
wrap
very,
it up.
very nice.
We need to wrap it up
question,
now.
though.
Like the time is up, guys. Thank you for enjoying this. And yeah, thank you, Joel, for doing this with us. And see you on the next one.
Thank you so much, the dynamic trio here. You did great. Thank you so much. We'll be back. A short break, only 10 minutes. Then we have the next really big one. It's Petri Alanko, composer of Alan Wake 2, in a conversation with Orvar Säfström, which we all know, right? Yeah, exactly. Från Filmkrönikan, as far as I can recall. And a lot of other stuff. He's been touring with game music as well, and it's gonna be sweet. So stay tuned, stay ready. Thank you so much. Bye.